Hello. Today's stories come from r/slash am I the butthole. We've got 3 stories today. Let's jump right in. Am I the butthole for walking out of the airport when I saw my husband's mom standing there with her luggage? I'm a 30-year-old female, and I don't have the best relationship with my husband's mom. Since day one, she tried to make remarks and compare me to her. She then tried to get on my good side and started overly praising everything I do and sometimes even copying me, like that one time when she literally dyed her hair purple, just like mine. And when everyone pointed out how ridiculous she looked, she actually blamed me and accused me of trying to make a joke of her. So, anyway, my husband and I took 2 weeks off work to go visit some places out of the country. Tourism, in other words. Thing is, I was the one who saved up for and arranged for the trip. My husband was responsible for booking the tickets. My husband's mom wanted to come along and threw temper tantrums when I said no. She called, texted, sent people to talk to me into letting her come, even threatened to call the police and make some complaint up to get us to stay if she can't come. My husband said we should just take her, but I told him he was wrong to tell her about the trip in the first place. He gave me an ultimatum. Said he wouldn't go if she can't come, and I told him I'd gladly call his bluff, which made him take his words back and say, "Fine, I will tell her to stop it because we won't take her." Things got quieter, suspiciously quieter. The day of the trip came, and we got to the airport at 2 p.m. My husband was walking ahead of me and was looking left and right like he was looking for someone. I asked him, but he didn't respond. He led me to the waiting area, and first thing I saw was his mom standing there with her luggage. I froze in my spot. I felt a cold wave washing over me, and I was fuming inside. She and my husband were hugging. That's when I quietly turned around and started walking towards the exit. My husband followed me while shouting at me to stop. He tried to stop me, but I told him off the harshest way possible. He tried to say I was overreacting and that his mom was there anyway, and I should let it go and not mess the trip up for us. I told him he and his mom could still go and that I was going home. I went home and sobbed into my dog's fur for several minutes. Turned out he booked her a ticket without me knowing. An hour later, he came home yelling and raging about how pathetic and spiteful I was to walk out and go home and ruin the trip last minute. I told him he caused this to happen. He said that I was being so hard on his mom, it's ridiculous. I refused to fight anymore, but he kept on berating me, then called my family to tell them that the trip was canceled and that it was because of me. My family said that I shouldn't have ruined it for myself and should have sucked it up and done my best to enjoy. Did I overreact? Absolutely not the butthole. I can't even. Guess she didn't realize she was marrying Oedipus. Comments obviously very one sided, so I'll go straight to those. Peanut Butter Toast said, I don't want to call it a divorce card, but divorce. You told your boundaries. You said no. She crossed it. Your husband told you he would tell her no. He lied. He tried to pin you in a corner by not saying anything and bringing her anyways and got upset you refused to be part of his little trap. And then to berate you? He's not a good man. He needs to go. Not the butthole. Ruby Larkspur said, not the butthole. He gave you an ultimatum. No loving partner would ever put you in that position. He's a mummy's boy and she's manipulative and toxic. You have every right to enjoy a holiday with your husband without them behaving like children. You did the right thing. The next right thing to do is leave. He doesn't respect you. OP replied, I didn't know he'd really take it this far and actually give an ultimatum. That shook me, and I'm not going to lie, from the moment he gave this ultimatum, I really wanted to cancel. Someone else replied, cancel your marriage. It's a sham. He is already with another woman. His mother is his #1 girl. Second rat said, not the butthole. Hubby lied to you and put his mother before you? I'd be looking to get out of that marriage. That would be a deal breaker for me. OP replied, thing is, he didn't even pay for anything, and I really wanted us to have some special time together as a couple and was really looking forward to having this trip. So much that I worked more hours to be able to save for it. Our second story is a surprise update to the first. Update. Hello. I don't know where to begin. It's been an absolute nightmare recently, and I feel like I was losing my sanity. So, for more details about my situation, I have to admit that my husband's mom favors him over all his siblings. This affected his relationship with them and me as well. He's never seen an issue with how differently his mom treats him. It bothered me and made me feel uncomfortable. The whole dynamic made me feel uncomfortable. Going low contact has never been an option. Like, he has to see her or call her every day. Most of his siblings don't talk to him, and I 100% believe it's because of his mom's favoritism, like I said. He does bear some blame for not seeing how wrong this is till this day. In many instances, I found myself making excuses for his behavior, even in my post. I did it spontaneously, and I don't know why, but I guess it's because of how much I love him and because I really, really wanted to be able to work this type of thing out without letting them affect our marriage. Regarding what happened with the trip, he tried to have a talk with me, and most of what he said came from a place of blame. Blame towards me. I just couldn't continue with this argument. I told him I needed space and that I would be going to stay with my sister for a while. He didn't take it well. He literally got up from the couch and opened the door, telling me to go right then. In that moment, and seeing how he was still not even anywhere near understanding what he has just done, made things perfectly clear to me. I just had pictured years and years of my life being lived like that, and I was like, nope, I can't do it. Can't take any more of it, especially when he keeps focusing on being right every time. His mom can do no wrong. I'm always the aggressive, crazy, jealous, pathetic overreactor. All these people's opinions, advice, and concerns were like a spark, like the wake up call I really needed. Though I wish that it didn't get this far, but what's done is done. Right now, I'm staying with my sister. I brought my dog with me as well. He sent me his last message telling me I'm the one choosing to end what we had together, but I believe it's the other way around, especially with how he keeps making his mom the victim in this situation. It's become clear now that we keep going in circles with no end in reach, and I'm just so exhausted and overwhelmed. I'm not mad at him and don't expect him to change, but at least I'm given options to decide what's best for me and my future, even if it's separation and divorce. A big thank you to those who reached out with resources that I feel very, very lucky to have come across. Just wanted to give you an update since many of you asked for it. Definitely not a surprise that OP was over it. It's either leave or stay in a drama triangle with hubby and mother in law. No thanks. Now, onto a good old fashioned roasting of the husband. Based in Baltimore said, "You will fly now you've cut those two dead weights holding you down. Best wishes. You did the right thing. Don't look back." Someone else replied, "Mama's boys hate this one trick to lose 250 pounds in a week." In response to, he sent me his last message telling me I'm the one choosing to end what we had together, someone replied, "Maybe if he says this enough times to himself, he'll actually start to believe it. I actually think he knows this is all on him, but he's too weak to do anything about it and is desperate to deflect the blame. I'm petty, so I just tell him to let me know where he and his mommy are registered, as I'd love to send them a wedding gift." Responding to the same text reference, Floof Trash Panda said, "This is like someone spending years walking all over an heirloom rug in muddy boots, wearing holes in it, letting their dog crap on it, then going, 'Well, you're the one who chose to throw it away,' when it's finally beyond repair." Our last story isn't the most significant ever, but oh boy, was it a split judgment. I thought it'd be fun to include it and get your opinions. Am I the butthole for not telling a guy what I do for work and letting him pay for my drinks during the whole evening? My friend Grace invited me to a board game bar to play and have drinks with her, her boyfriend, and one of their friends, Nick. We went to get drinks in pairs, Grace going with her boyfriend. Meanwhile, Nick and I stayed at the table and vice versa. So Nick and I had plenty of time to talk, just the two of us. Nick started the night by telling about his recent career change. He decided to quit his previous job, go to a coding boot camp, and he got a job as a developer 1 or 2 months ago. He was very proud of himself and his new salary and told me this multiple times. He never asked me what I do for work, but talked about his new job quite a lot, occasionally saying, "Sorry, you don't understand that, haha." During the entire evening, I never told him I had been working as a software engineer for the past 4 years because he never asked, and honestly, I found it a bit entertaining. When it came to the drinks, he invited me to every single one. "Don't worry about it. It's not a problem with my developer salary." I told him multiple times he doesn't have to pay for me, but he insisted. At the end of the night, when we were saying our goodbyes, he took out his phone to send me a friend request on Facebook. My job is listed in my profile, so that was when he realized that I'm a software engineer. He asked me if it's true that I'm a software engineer, and I answered yes. He asked me why I hadn't told him. Why did I let him believe I was a cashier like Grace used to be? I never implied that. And why did I let him pay for everything when I probably earn more than him? I told him that he never once asked, and it was his fault, he assumed. He could have simply asked me about my job, but he only wanted to brag about his. But if he wants me to, I can pay him back for the drinks. He was angry and said I made a fool out of him. I think he did that, not me. But now Grace and her boyfriend are on his side too, saying that it would have cost me nothing to tell him early in the evening, and I only kept it for myself for my own entertainment. Well, I did find it entertaining, but I don't really feel like I did anything wrong. Am I the butthole? Now, hopefully you've made up your mind because we're going straight to the comments to hear it from all sides. Someone had this to say. So, you expect men to be mind readers and just know that you work in the field they are bragging about just recently getting into and have enough money to pay for your own drink so they don't need to? Not the butthole. If he cared slightly, he would have asked. I've asked people what they do for work while I rode the chairlift at a ski resort. He was embarrassed he was making a fool of himself the whole night and wanted to take it out on you. Someone replied, you had me in the first half. Speak Louder Please said, everyone sucks here. Going against the grain here. Sure, he's bragging and sounds annoying, but just because he's a butthole and being annoying doesn't mean you weren't, or give you the right to treat him poorly. If this was some random dude, I'd defend you a little more, but saying you kept up with the whole thing for amusement is kind of a jerk move and not the way I'd treat someone who is a friend of a friend. Sounds like he was misinformed about you and you never quickly corrected him. Considering he is a friend of a friend, I would try to give him the benefit of the doubt if I were in your shoes. Like, sure, technically he never asked you for your job, but you seem to purposely egg him on. It's normal, decent behavior when in a conversation to offer information, especially if this was sort of a date or even just a hangout with someone who was vetted by a friend. His reaction after the fact was poor for sure as well. I guess I feel like you went out of your way to also be a butthole to him just because you felt he was being a jerk, so everyone sucks here. The tipping point for me is that he is a friend of a friend. Metabolt said, not the butthole, but I seriously don't understand how these situations happen. Wouldn't the conversation go like, I'm a software developer. Oh, cool, me too. Like, is that not the natural flow of the conversation? You only share information if you're specifically asked a question? I don't get how these things happen. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.